all it takes is 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's all that is required to have body control. Ultimately. Yes. Good. You know, Prabhupada's Samadhi is closed. Well, technically it's closed. It's not actually locked, but they actually have a sign there telling the timing. And I think it's 1 o'clock or 1:30 that they close. So when we came there, it was 2:30 or 2 o'clock or something like that. And it was just me and him. And, they didn't want to let him in because he was wearing the short pants. They said, no, you have to get a dhoti. And they directed him that over there by the shoes, where people put their shoes, you can buy a dhoti. But he had asked me earlier, should I bring any cloth? I said, yeah, you can bring a gamsha or something if you want. So that gamsha came in very handy.
So they let you when you were the only two there? Yeah.
Well, yeah, there were no other people.
They didn't allow us random, like these other people.
Yeah, because they were saying that he couldn't come. So I went back down to the office and I said, what are you talking about? What is this nonsense?
Then they said, well, that's okay. But at that point, that was something.
Yeah. Anyway, but I think they opened at 3:30. So by the time we got kind of settled into there, I was flat out. I mean, I had to lie down. They had some mat and some cushions there. But the problem was, fan was actually very hot inside of there. It wasn't cool unless you turn on the fan. And the same thing I noticed in the temple, because we went for darshan in the temple, and they have so many of the fans turned off. So it's like all the people, all the body heat, plus the outside heat, pretty muggy. You got to sit underneath the fan. Prabhupada's room? No. Right. I didn't have any energy to climb any stairs by that time. We did a Mayapur parikrama yesterday with Dr. Om Prabhu. And yeah, it was quite a yajna because I definitely got dehydrated again. It's very difficult not to get dehydrated, even if you're drinking water. So anyway, but it was blissful to go to Sri Mayapur Dham, go to of course the 3 main places for us: Yogapit, Shiva Sangha, Chaitanya Mat. Yeah. And that is not, of course, after. But it was very nice because now the people started to come in, They started to come in by the time I got settled. And one of the guards, he said, you should lie down here because then the fan can direct. But they have the upper part where people can circumambulate, and he said they come walking on the upper part. So they put a couple of chairs there, and then I laid down there, but there's no fan there, So somehow or other I just, at least I'm lying down. But then people started to, again, push the chairs aside and walking by, But all in all, it was blissful because I was lying down there, and Prabhupada, they have a screen, a large screen on the side, which is non-stop showing Prabhupada videos. The audio is not turned on, but they have a transcription of what he's saying and all that. So it's kind of like watching that, and then I'm looking up at the roof, and all of it. It's big time Udipan. The Prabhupada disciples there. Big time Udipan, And he went upstairs to see all the diorama exhibits and everything. So yeah, it was ultimately successful.
You came in life from blessing for
Anything you're inspired? Any particular... Alright, I got one. Nadia Godrume. Yeah, that's always an all-time favorite. Nadia Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Hatya Chena Mahatta Jivera Karan Nadia Godrume Hatya Chena. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in this song, he's telling about how Lord Nityananda has made... No, this is a different one. This is Nadia Bhate Vai. I got the wrong one. Wait. Okay. So, how Lord Nityananda on the island of Godruma in the land of Nadia, the magnanimous personality, Nityananda Mahajan, he has opened a marketplace of the holy name for the benefit of all living beings. Yes. And there he's calling out. So this is, you should envision while we're saying this song, that you are in Godruma, and you are there at Surabhi Kunj in Godruma Dvip. And Nityananda Prabhu is there, and you're seeing him. Look at there's Lord Nityananda. What is he doing? From a distance we approach. And then you see Lord Nityananda, he's calling out to everyone. Just like in any marketplace. The vendors, what do? Mangoes, come, very cheap, like this. So Nityananda Prabhu has opened up a marketplace of what? Do you know what he's selling in the marketplace? Do you know? It's called Namahata, the holy names. He is giving the holy name of Krishna. But is it just any ordinary holy name? No. Nityananda Prabhu is the Supreme Master. Why? Because he's Guru Tattva. He is the original Guru Tattva. Because he's Baladev Prabhu. And if he wants to give instructions, you better listen. So Nityananda Prabhu calls out to everyone. Shraddhavan Jana He! Shraddhavan Jana He! Oh, those of you who are Shraddhavan, you have Shraddha, you have faith. So he's telling there, Prabhur Agyay Bhai Magi E Diksha. Who's Prabhur? Who's Prabhu? Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He has given an order. Agyay. He's not a request. Mahaprabhu is not requesting. Mahaprabhu is ordering. Prabhur Agyay Bhai Magi E Diksha. That I should beg from you some donation. This is what Lord Nityananda is saying. My Prabhu, my Gauranga, has given an order that I should beg from you, from everyone, that you give bhiksha, you give donation. And what is that? What should I request from you? Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna Siksha. This took place right here in Godruma Dvip. That Lord Nityananda opened up the marketplace, and then he called out to everyone, now you come, and I have to beg from you a donation. Because Gauranga told me that you should do what? You should chant Krishna, Bolo Krishna. Bhajo Krishna, you should worship Krishna. And Karo Krishna Siksha, you should follow the instructions of Krishna. Now, he's continuing. Aparad Shunya Hoil Loho Krishna Nam. He says, you should not, you should give up all aparad. Aparad Shunya Hoil. You should not perform any kind of aparad. Why? Because what is the meaning of aparad?
Sin.
No, it's not sin. There's a big, huge difference between pap and aparad.
Mistakes. Big
No,
mistakes.
not mistakes. Aparad means offense.
Offense.
And what is the result of aparad? What is the etymological derivative of the word aparad? Tell.
Aparad means affection, right? And apa means against or away from. So
Yes.
away from aparad.
And Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj explains in his book that this word aparad, rad means Radha. That is the basis of the name Radha. So, but Radha, what does it mean? It means having aradhana, the tendency to love, the tendency to worship, aradhana. And what is aparadha? It means that which will distance you from worship. Yes? If you perform aparad, then what will happen? You will be pulled far, 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 far away from Shuddha Bhakti and from the association of pure Vaishnavas, and you will be drowning in the material existence. So therefore Lord Nityananda is saying, Aparad Shunya Hoy Loho Krishna Nam. Take this Krishna Nam, chant the names of Krishna without offenses. That's not an easy task. You think it's easy just because you know the Mahamantra? Never. No. There are 10 offenses. Yes. There are Das Aparad, and they're called Nam Aparad. And those 10 offenses must be carefully, carefully understood. Who explained what the 10 offenses are? In Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached the Nam Acharya, the Acharya of the holy name of Krishna, namely Haridas Thakur. And then there's a whole book written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Harinam Chintamani. And there the conversation is given. How Mahaprabhu said to Haridas Thakur, I'm feeling so much, it was moving, like, I'm lamenting for the jivas. How can the jivas, now in this sinful age of Kali Yuga, how can the jivas be delivered? How can they be freed? Because they have tendency to commit so many offenses. So then Haridas Thakur said, Oh my Lord, I do not know anything, but it is only you, because you are inspiring me in my heart, and you are requesting me to speak about this, but really it is you who is speaking. So now I am telling about the 10 offenses against the name of Krishna, against the holy names of Hari, 10 offenses. And he delineated very, very clearly. If anyone reads that, they will never ever forget for their whole life. What are the 10 offenses, and why one should avoid them, and what will be the obstacles that if you chant those 10 offenses, this obstacle will arise, this obstacle will arise, like that. So therefore Lord Nityananda is saying, Aparad Shunya Hoy Loha Krishna Nam. And then he inspires us. He's giving us some Sambandha Gyan. Yes, because he's Guru Tattva. So therefore he's giving us Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of relationship. And therefore he tells us, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Ram. That Krishna is your mother, Krishna is your father, not your so-called bodily father of this material world, No. He's not really your father. He's just temporarily playing a role of your father, but you belong to Krishna. You have originated from Krishna. Krishna's really your father. Krishna's really your mother. But what else is Krishna? Krishna Dhana Pran. Krishna Dhana Pran. He is the wealth of your life, actually. And the people, the poor jivas in Kali Yuga, they don't know this. They chase after everything else. They think this is a value, this is a value. And they become mad for material sense enjoyment and sense gratification. They want to accumulate so many materialistic name and name, fame, and adoration, distinction, all of these things they want in this material world. But nobody ever becomes satisfied. No one. Doesn't matter who they are, how rich they are, how elite position they have. They're suffering. Why? Because they don't have Krishna. And Krishna is the only wealth. Krishna is the only wealth. And if someone has Krishna, guess what? They don't need anything else. How did the Goswamis live? How did Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj live? Or the other Avadhuts who also lived in Navadvip at the same time. Vamshi Das Babaji. They had nothing. Just the loincloth. But they had everything. They were the supreme wealthy personalities. Because they had Krishna. So, finally he ends the song, and our Gurudev has explained this final shloka, 4 shlokas in this song. He said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has summarized in one shloka the entire process. The entire process to attain perfection in one shloka. What do you have to do? Krishner samsar koro, chadi anachar, jive doya, Krishna nam sarva dharmasar. Krishna samsar koro. Now, what does that mean? Krishna samsar koro. This is an instruction. You should do something. What should you do? You should make Krishna your samsar. Everyone in this material world, this is also called the world of samsara. Because we are repeatedly taking birth and dying in this world. But now, in this temporary world, generally the word samsara refers to your household life and all your mundane family relations and all of that. So, what's the instruction? Krishner samsar karo. Make your samsar Krishna samsar. Put Krishna in the center at every moment in your life. Doesn't matter what your occupation is. Doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter anything about your background. You have to do this. You have to live for Krishna. Grihastha life, Vaishnava Grihastha life means that this is Krishna's house. If anyone wants to be successful in the pathway of Shuddha Bhakti and attain spiritual perfection in this life, they can do that, even in Grihastha ashram. They have to be like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They have to follow the example of the great acharyas who also lived like our Srila Prabhupada. He was completely focused on Krishna while he's doing business, while he's doing his occupation, everything, for his whole life. You see? So whatever we are doing to maintain our existence, we have to make that Krishna-centered. So the Vaishnava does not think that this is my family, this is my house, my children, my relatives. No. You know what he thinks? This is Krishna's house. I'm Krishna's servant. That's right. Krishna has posted me here to look after his house, to look after his possessions, to look after his family, to look after his jivas, and make them devotees of Krishna. We have so many good quotations. Recently I get a daily quote from Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj. So nice. Last few days, he's giving quotations about what is ideal Vaishnava Grihastha life. And he himself was the example of this. Amazing, amazing example. You should learn about Gaur Govind Maharaj because he's Korean. Okay? And he established the ISKCON temple in Bhubaneswar. And Prabhupada said about him that he is qualified to be my successor Acharya. Yes. Nobody else, Prabhupada said that. But they did not want to hear that. Oh, Prabhupada, but we did everything. No. You did not become a pure devotee. He's a pure devotee. There's a big difference between you and him. But Prabhupada didn't push that point because he could see, no, they will not do. So then, he says, Krishna samsar karo chadi anachar. What does anachar mean? Anachar means bad behavior. And what is bad behavior? Sinful life. That we engage in sinful activities. So chadi anachar, give that up. This is the message of all of our acharyas. Prabhupada gave this message when he first came to the West. And everyone was wondering. He was wondering what will happen when I tell what are the rules and regulations that you will have to follow. You know that? Because previously, when Srila Bhaktisaranga Goswami Maharaj went to preach in England in the early 1930s, being sent there by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he met with a person who was very aristocratic, Lord Zetland. You would say Jetland. That's how Bengalis and Koreans pronounce the Z syllable. They pronounce it J. Instead of yogi, or the Y syllable also. Like Prabhupada would say jogi. Jogi. So Lord Jetland. So he had some appreciation actually of Bhaktisaranga Goswami Maharaj and of the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he was dyed in the wool, materialistic sense enjoyer of the aristocratic class. But he had some attraction to devotional service to Krishna. He had some attraction for the philosophy of the Vedas. And he knew that in India they have the 4 different divisions of human society, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So he asked to Lord Zetland, can you make me a Brahmin? And then Lord Zetland, Goswami Maharaj, he replied, yes, of course. You can become a Brahmin. Then he said, then how do I become a Brahmin? Then he told him that you will have to give up all eating of meat, fish, eggs. You will have to give up any illicit sexual activity. You will have to give up any gambling activities. In the Aristocrat, they love to gamble. And what's the 4th? What? Yes, and any intoxication. They live every day with intoxication. Meaning alcohol and so forth. They live, that's part of their lifestyle in the West. So he said you'll have to do that, and then you'll have to adopt this process of bhakti yoga and so forth. But when Lord Zetland heard that, you know what he replied? Impossible! Impossible! And generally, most of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas were thinking like that. Because after all, the British ruled India. So it wasn't like Indian population was unfamiliar with the British and the British ways, and they had their British schools. Our Acharyas, like Prabhupada and Bhakti Pragyan Keshav, not like that. They went to the British schools. Okay? But the British, they're very, very greedy and very exploitive. This is their whole tendency, is to exploit and to grab and to steal and to loot from everyone so that they can become most important. Basically, that's called asura, demon. So, and therefore, the lifestyle of Western civilization, because it's Kali Yuga, has, since 5,000 years ago, the Kali Yuga came, and you can read in the 12th canto the different dynastic kings, but gradually, even the kingly, even the Kshatriya class was driven out of India. By who? Parashuram. 21 times he drove them out of India and slaughtered with his Ankush. What is it called? Parashu. Yes. So where did they go? They fled to Europe and all these places. So the European races, and starting from Egypt and all these different areas, they have basically come. This is told in the Mahabharata. And our Prabhupada explained this, that you Westerners, you are coming from the Kshatriya lines that have fled from India because they didn't want to follow Dharma properly. So therefore, in course of time, Western civilization has become very organized because they're Kshatriya. Kshatriyas organize things properly, but very sinful, you see. And therefore, they have completely obliterated the opportunity of people in the human form of life to attain spiritual perfection. Because they themselves don't have any interest, they don't know anything about it, they just want to be Hiranyakashipu and Ravana. You see. So, Chadi Amachar, this is a big one. We have to live the life of a Vaishnava in both ways, negative and positive. We have to give up such and such, and we have to adopt such and such. Otherwise, we will not progress. If we don't take up the process, we will not progress. And we will remain where we are, and even become negatively influenced by the surrounding atmosphere. So therefore, Lord Nityananda is telling here in this song, Krishnera samsar koro chadi anachar, jive doya krishnanam sarva dharmasar. Jive doya means have mercy for all living beings. Try to give mercy in the form of helping them to come to Krishna. Jive doya, Krishna Nam, that means always chant Krishna Nam, always chant Krishna Nam. And then he says, this is the Sarva Dharma Sar. This is the essence of all Dharma. These instructions right here in this shloka. So Lord Nityananda, Bhaktivinoda Thakur envisioned him that he's there in Godruma and he's opened up the marketplace of the holy name. There's another song that he wrote about how Lord Nityananda was dealing. We mentioned this the other day. How he was negotiating with each person according to their what? Not according to how much money they have in their pocket, but according to how much faith they have. According to their shraddha, then he gives the corresponding level of Krishna Nam. Alright, so let's chant this beautiful song. I remember, I have a memory when we were there with Srila Gurudev on the Navadvip Parikrama at Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Swananda Sukhada Kunja. And I forget who sang it, but he told one of the good kirtaniyas, the good singers, to sing the song. And it was the first time I heard it being sung in that way, where they have like an extended Nadiya, Nadiya, Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahaja, like that. And they kept repeating the song, like 2-3 times, you know. And then again the refrain, Nadia.
That's not,
Huh?
I usually do twice.
I can't hear you.
I usually sing that Nadia twice.
Okay, very good. Okay. Go ahead.
Nadia, Nadia, Golume, Nityananda Mahaja, Patiya Sena Mahakakure,
Nadia, Golume, Nityananda Mahaja, Patiya Sena Mahakakure. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Mangam Mangayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataparam Vansha Kalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Tishe Namaha Nityanandam Namastupam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janavapataye Namaha Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Savodito Gaudodaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shamdo Tamodo Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta, Namaste, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Haripriya, Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasvacha, Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi, Satyamachai Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, everyone. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahansa, Ashto Tarasata Sri Srila, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat pranams and Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srihar Goswami Maharaj and Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I offer my Dandavat pranams at the lotus feet of all of my Shri Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga and my Siksha Guru Varga. And I offer my Dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavas and to all the Vaishnavas. We're continuing now with our reading of the 4th chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, which is entitled The Confidential Reasons for the Appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we read how the pure devotees of Krishna, they have no desire separate from serving Krishna. Nothing. Not even the desire for liberation. Can you imagine? Everyone is trying to get rid of all suffering and repeated birth and death, and this is the goal. Moksha, freedom. But that moksha is not the highest purpose of our existence at all. Why? Because moksha is just a negative principle. No more suffering, no more material suffering, no more 3 modes of nature like this. But what about the positive side? This is why the pure devotees will never accept. They will accept the other 4 types of liberation, yes. If it's given to them, and Krishna wants them to have it, they'll accept it. But Kaivalya, this merging into the existence of the Supreme, never they'll accept it. And I told the shloka the other day, they consider it to be like going to hell. Why? That which is sought after by so many, Mayavadi sannyasis, impersonalists, yogis, they want to merge their existence into the Supreme, annihilate their own individual existence. But to the devotees, this is hell. Why? Because there's no connection with bhakti. You cannot do bhakti there. Because bhakti has 3 parts. Bhakta, Bhagavan, and bhakti. And there's another 3 ways it's described. The worshipper, worshipper, the worshipable, and the process of worship. So, that's where all the ecstasy is. There is a thing called Brahmananda. Have you heard of that? Brahmananda. You'll experience this Ananda when you merge into Brahma. Oh, really? Well, guess what Rupa Goswami says about merging into Brahma in comparison with the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. He wrote the book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That means the Sindhu, the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. Okay? So, in the beginning of the book, he's explaining there that not even in the highest perfectional stage, in the stage of Bhav, which is the intermediate stage between Sadhana Bhakti and Prem Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti, even in that stage, Mokshada Laguta Krit, it completely destroys any kind of importance of moksha. By attaining this prem, by entering into the existence of bhakti rasa, prem rasa, and relishing and tasting that eternally. We're hearing about the gopis. The gopis are the highest personalities. There's no one higher than the gopis. No one. No Brijbasi in a higher position than the gopis. Their love for Krishna is the topmost. And therefore their experience of bhakti rasa is topmost. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the Kali Yuga to give what? Unnata Ujvala Rasa Swabhakti Shriyam. To the jivas of the Kali Yuga, he came to give Unnata Ujvala Rasa. And what does that mean? That means not only the topmost Ujvala Rasa, the topmost Madhurya Rasa that is tasted by the gopis, but Unnata, the topmost Ujvala Rasa, Swabhakti, Krishna's own embodiment of Mahabhav, Sva, because Srimati Radhika is Krishna himself, Krishna's own Shakti, his Swarup Shakti potency. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give that which has never been given. Anarpita Chirin Chirat, Karunayavatirana Kalo. Out of his causeless mercy has descended in the Kali Yuga to give that which has not been given. Not by anyone. In 8.6 billion years of universal time. It has not been given by anyone. No incarnation, no personality has given this. Only Krishna can give. Only Krishna coming in the form of Gauranga can give. Why? Because Gauranga is the combination of Radha and Krishna. Yes? Gauranga is Krishna who has taken the bhav and the kanti, the emotion, the transcendental unnata ujvala ras that Srimati Radhika tastes. He has taken that bhav of hers so that he can experience it. And in order to experience it, he also has to take her golden color. Because that bhav is, her golden color is that. So he has to take that. So, no one has given. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that if you take the entire Brahma Ananda that the impersonalists are desiring to experience, Brahma Ananda, I am Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. No, you take that and you try to compare that to the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. He said, it will not be equivalent to even the tiniest little droplet of the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. But the devotees, they are merging into that ocean of Bhakti Rasa. Rupa Goswami says, like the great ocean creatures like sharks and other fish who can go anywhere in that ocean, no limitations. The devotees, pure devotees, are like that. They're forever swimming in the ocean of bhakti rasa. So therefore Krishna is telling in this verse, spoken by Lord Kapila in his form of Kapila, Mat sevaya pratitam te salokyadi chatushtayam nechanti sevaya purna kuto nyat kala viplutam. Lord Kapila is saying that my devotees, my pure devotees, having fulfilled all of their desires by serving me. What is that called? Service, seva, prem seva, bhakti seva, guru seva. By serving me, my devotees have fulfilled all their desires. So therefore, because all of their desires are fulfilled, they do not accept the 4 kinds of liberation. And that are easily earned by such service. Very easily earned. The pure devotees easily earn salokya, samidya, sarupya, sashti. Very easily through their pure devotion. They are transported to the spiritual world. They live forever there on Krishna's planet. They attain the 4 types of liberation. So, then the question is asked by Lord Kapila Dev, if they don't accept, they do not accept these 4 kinds of liberation. Only if Krishna says, no, you have to accept, then they accept. But they're not trying to get anything other than their pure service to Krishna forever and ever and ever. So therefore the question he's asking is, if this is their position, why then should they accept any kind of pleasures that are lost in the course of time? Because everything in this material world is lost in the course of time. Huh? Can we bring anything with us that we have now here? Any of the pleasures, any of the paraphernalia of our enjoyment in this world that makes us happy? Can we bring this body to the next? No. Nothing goes with us. So therefore, the pure devotees are not interested in temporary material enjoyment at all. Because they're not even interested in liberation. So what to speak of that? Huh? Yes. So here Prabhupada says, this verse, 9th canto, 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, was spoken by the Lord in connection with the characteristics of Maharaj Ambarish, and merging into the existence of the Absolute, Kaivalya Mukti, it is as temporary as living in the celestial kingdom. The celestial kingdom, the heavenly planets. Can the demigods live forever in the heavenly planets? Yes, Swarga and all the other higher planetary systems, there they can live for millions of years. But can they live forever? No. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. Their punya, which is their, their currency, that is their currency. Sometimes Prabhupada gave the example, if you want to stay in a very 5-star hotel, and not just you want to stay in the penthouse suite, the most expensive room in the 5-star hotel, well, what do you have to do that? Lots of money. You have to have lots of money to stay there. So, if a person comes and starts to live there, he's got a lot of money. But he's living there over an extended period of time. And what happens to his big, huge amount of money? It starts to dwindle. So, then he's not going to pay for his hotel room on a regular basis anymore. So the hotel management, despite the fact that he's a very prestigious customer, they say, "My dear Mr. Such and Such, we have noticed you have not been paying your rent for your room here in our hotel. We require that, so can you please now pay your rent?" And then he says, well, really don't have enough resources anymore. I've kind of run out of my resources, so I can't really pay. But I want to stay here. I want to live here. I like it here so much. And they say, well, we're sorry, but the basis upon which anyone can live in our hotel is that they have to pay the cost of the rental of the room. No, but I can't do that, but I want to stay. Well, sir, we want you to leave now. No, but I want to stay, I want to stay. No, you have to leave. Guards, kick him out. And he becomes kicked out of the penthouse suite. So Krishna says the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who goes to the heavenly planets, their punya, which is their currency to pay for their, not rental, but their time there. Everyone has to earn what they have in this material world. Even if a person is born into a wealthy family, they earned it in a previous life. We have to understand that. And if a person is born into a sinful family, and so that they also earn that by sinful activities. But the persons who can go to the heavenly planets, they're like pious, we can say, pious Hindus. They have no idea of going to the spiritual world and serving Krishna forever. It's very rare to find a Hindu. By the way, that word is not found anywhere in the Vedas, Hindu. That word Hindu was derived from the word Sindhu, which means the Sindhu River, and in previous ages, the persons who lived across from the Sindhu River, they became known as Hindus.
And there is sloka.
Huh?
There is a typical sloka for Hindu, but maybe we can discuss later. Hitarthe bindu sambhava.
What?
Hitarthe bindu sambhava. So the Sanskrit texts are taken from one letter from one word and another letter from another word in such a conjunction happens. Hitarthe means to serve and help and support. Bindu means our origin of, it's a repetition of life, means any jivas. Sambhava means who is, Sambhava means who come into existence, who is created, because to serve and support and help each and every jivas. Hitarthe, he, bindu, bindu, sambhava. Hindu is come from there. But many people do not explain these things. They say the geographical existence of Sindhu and Hindus mountain, but these are all present after British era definitions and all these things.
Okay, so you're saying, and you've heard this, that the word Hindu comes from that Sanskrit words. Who told this? Where is it written? Can you cite?
I will scan this.
Go ahead. Try to find it, because you know what? My Guru Maharaj, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all of the 6 Goswamis coming down from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never used the word Hindu. And Srila Prabhupada specifically told this many, many hundreds of times, because he used to preach to the Hindu population of India. And he used to tell them, no, this word Hindu is not found in the Vedic literatures.
And should the people of India explain and agree that Hindu is not a definition? Hindu is an art of living. And what is the art? Where is that art? Now, the arts are nothing but the scriptures.
The art of living, you said? What? The art.
The art
of living.
The art of living is
Yeah.
Hindu.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court also agreed with that definition. And
Say it again, what?
Supreme Court of India
Yeah.
also agreed with that definition based on the scriptures and evidences. And then
Which scripture? Like, what is the source? Like, what chapter?
but precisely the question comes, where is that, what is that art means, the skill means? Then the answer is yes, all our Puranas and the Shastras, these are prescribed documents where all kind of arts and skills are well documented. Like how to live, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, how to die, how to live Srimad Bhagavad Gita, how to die Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the very well authenticated prescriptions where all documents are describing the skill of it. So that's the art of it. This is, but the reference I will find and send to you.
Yes, you please find where the word Hindu, okay, where Hindu is written in the Vedic scriptures,
Yes,
not some interpretation by someone, because what you've said so far is only an interpretation. Let me explain what Prabhupada told. Prabhupada explained, we are not Hindus. He said, what are we? You can find this in his Sri Ishopanishad. He said, we are Varnashrama. The Vedic civilization is not Hindu civilization. It is called Varnashrama. That's the Sanskrit word upon which the entire, what you said, the art of living, everything about human form of life, it is based upon Varnashram. That is the human civilization. Doesn't matter which country of the world. Prabhupada never ever came to the West and said, yes, now you should all convert from your Christianity to Hinduism. Never once he would dare to say that. Because he says, we are not Hindus. Hindu is a modern invention word, okay? It's not in the original Vedic literatures. The original Vedic literatures are telling Varnashram Dharma. In Bhagavad Gita, does Krishna mention the word Hindu in one single place? Can you find that in Srimad Bhagavatam in one single place? No. Only Varnashram Dharma and Shuddha Bhakti. So that's why the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not a sectarian movement. There's so much misconception in India about Hindu. We are Hindus, and you are Muslims, and we are Christians. That's all temporary. That's all temporary. In this life you may be a Hindu, you can also convert into Christianity, which we've seen, or you may be a Muslim and you convert into Hindu or whatever. But Varnashram, you cannot change that. That's why the book written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma means the Dharma of what? The Atma, the Jiva, the eternal spirit soul. It is not Hindu Dharma. It is not Christian Dharma. If that was the case, we'd have no Hare Krishna movement all over the world.
We do not also accept Hindu Dharma. Hindu is not a Dharma.
Yes,
We do not accept this also. But
we accept Varnashram. We accept what is given in the Vedas. We accept the system of bhakti to Bhagavan.
little bit if we go beyond this localized small time scale, then we say it is Sanatana Dharma. It makes sense.
Yes,
But,
Sanatana Dharma.
but not Hindu as a Dharma. People say Hindu Dharma, we do not agree with that. We
Yeah.
say it's a modern terminology, but it is also secularized to a particular time period, modern time period, and also not universal. But
Yeah.
Jaiva Dharma is universality, showing the like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's a whole.
Yeah, so what is the Dharma? What is the Dharma of the Jiva? Sanatana Dharma. The eternal function of the soul. The eternal function of the Jivatma is what? To serve Bhagavan. That's the whole message of Bhagavad Gita. The entire function of the living entity is to serve the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Being, from whom everything has come. That's the only Dharma of the living entity, you see. Not only that, but we know that our great acharyas like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, I told you the other day, they became converted to so-called Muslim. They wore the dress. etc., even though they're born into a Brahmin lineage. And they were highly learned scholars. But they became associated with the Muslims, and they adopted also the habits of the Muslims and so forth. So they considered themselves to be very, very fallen. And they wrote their letter to Mahaprabhu, please come and rescue us, which he did. They became the greatest personalities in a whole disciple succession, you see. So we are not concerned about the temporary bodily designations that people have adopted, even their religious bodily designations. Has nothing to do with the Atma, you see. So, for the purposes of preaching, sometimes our Srila Prabhupada would mention Hindu. Why? Because he's speaking to an entire audience of Hindus. And the Hindus identify themselves with what? The Vedic civilization. Even though they don't follow it, most of the Hindus don't follow. Even most of the Christians don't follow the Bible's teachings, Jesus' teachings. Most of the Muslims actually don't follow, you know. So this is all mundane, so-called religion. That's temporary. So the religion of the Atma is to serve Bhagavan, and this is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended, to give this Dharma. And therefore he accepted, it did not matter whether they were Muslim, whether they were Hindu, whatever. But it's true, I understand what you're saying, but I wanted to point this out, that our acharyas have clearly delineated that we should not identify ourselves by any temporary, mundane, religious terminology or nomenclature.
Rule out all confusions.
Yes, yes. So there's no prejudice in the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Look, even the so-called Brahminical class, they were prejudiced against Mahaprabhu when he started the Sankirtan movement. Yeah. And our Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the so-called Brahmin class, they were prejudiced against him to the extent they wanted to kill him because he was, infringing on their profit margins, you see. They also wanted to do that with Lord Jesus Christ, the Jewish Pharisees. So that's mundane religion. So what we're talking about is that is free from all designations. Sarva upadi, vinirmuktam, tatparatvena nirmalam. This is the definition of bhakti. First, sarva upadi, vinirmuktam. This is a Upanishad shloka. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. To be free, sarva upadi. You know what upadi means? It comes from the words upadhi. Do you know meaning? No, but upadhi. It means that your sense of identity, right? This is a temporary understanding of who you are. Upadi. So the word is used to explain upadi, false designation. False designation. All of us have designations pertaining to our body, right? Otherwise, why do you have to carry a passport? Why do you have to go and get a visa? Why don't you just try to get on the airplane and say, I don't have any of these designations. I'm not really this body. I'm not Mr. Such and Such. This is not my real father. This is not my real country. I'm eternal spirit soul. They will not recognize that. Sorry, you can't get on the airplane. So the false designations of this material world are essential for our livelihood, for our living within this world. Therefore we identify temporarily, only externally we identify that, oh, I'm an Indian, I'm born in India, I'm an American, I'm born in America. These are all false designations because it's not really who we are. And when Sanatana Goswami approached Mahaprabhu, we saw that. You took a photo of it yesterday at the Chaitanya Mat. where Sanatana Goswami was doing dandavats and holding onto the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when you read that chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he gets up and then he says to Mahaprabhu, I am most fallen and I am most wretched. But people think that I'm a very great scholar, but actually I don't even know who I am. So therefore, please teach me. Ke-ami. Who am I? And Keni Mori, forget the Bengali, Keni Mori Jari Tapatroy. Tapatroy means the three miseries. Adhyatmik, Adibhotik, Adidaiva. Why are these three miseries always giving me difficulty? So first question, who am I? Second question, why are the three miseries always giving me difficulty? Third question, if I don't know the answer to these two questions, how can I understand how to truly benefit myself? That's the beginning of spiritual inquiry. To give up your false designation that I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. You see? If somebody is identifying with that, it means that's what? Saeva Gokara. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it's told there. How does that verse begin? Yes, Yasyatma Buddhi Kunape Tridatuke. This body is made of three dhatus. Right? Kunape means like a bag with the three dhatus inside. So he says, Yasyatma Buddhi Kunape Tridatuke. That if a person thinks he has Atma Buddhi, he thinks, I am this body made of these three elements, Kapha, Pitta, Vata, transformed into stool, urine, pus, blood, muscles, skin, all of this. If a person thinks that, then at the end of the verse, and it also tells, let's see, Kunape Tridatuke, Svadi Kalatradishu, Bhoma Ijyati. Svadi Kalatradishu means, and he thinks, I am part of this family, this Kalatra, and my children and my relatives, right? Svadi, he thinks di about swa, about himself. Kalatradishu. Adishu means beginning with that, because everything else is connected with that. All of my sense of identity is connected from this family. I have this occupation, this. So the Kalatradishu Bhoma Ijyati. And he thinks, the Bhoma, the land where I am born, is worshipable. Of course, we know, if someone's born in India, it's very true. The land that you're born in is worshipable. Like you're born near to Jagannath Puri, right next to Jagannath Puri. A very worshipable place. But if they think that it's worshipable because I'm born there, but this body is from there, we're Americans. Make America great again. America, America. Germany, Germany. They think that it's worshipable, actually. And they become very overwhelmed when they sing the national anthem. And when they, what's it called? They pledge allegiance to the flag, you see. So this is called national consciousness, right? But in Srimad Bhagavatam, it means that you think that just your place of birth, your country, whether it's the North, South Pole, or anywhere in between, it's worshipable because I was born there. So that's natural because we identify with the material body under illusion. But when that illusion is lifted and you understand who you really are, then you're no longer under that spell of illusion. So Bhoma Ijadi, Yat Tirtha Buddhi Salile Nakarhi Chid. You have the mood of Tirtha Buddhi. Oh, I'm a pious person. I follow Hindu Dharma. And we Hindus, we go to take bath at this time in this holy river. And here the Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, Yat tirtha buddhi. You have the buddhi about going to the tirtha just to take bath. Salilei nakarhichit. Do you go to the tirtha to hear transcendental spiritual knowledge? No, the majority of people, I was sinful, so I'm going there to take bath so that all my sins can be, and then I can go to Svarga. All the mundane, materialistic desires. But what does Srimad Bhagavatam say about these temporary, false senses of identity? It says, Janeshu avigyeshu saeva gokara. Srimad Bhagavatam says, the persons, Janeshu avigyeshu, who do not have vigya, transcendental knowledge, they're avidya. They don't have actual spiritual knowledge. So, Janeshu avigyeshu saeva gokara. They are no better than a cow or an ass. I'm not saying this. Don't say that I'm insulting anyone. Srimad Bhagavatam is telling this. Because why? Because what is the cow? What is the life of the cow? Chewing, swallowing, identifying with the other cows, identifying with the calf. That's their existence. Same with the donkey. Yeah. Donkeys are not so intelligent. Did you know that? Even amongst the animal kingdom, they recognize, yes, this poor chap here hasn't got much up there. And when we go in Braj, on the Braj Mandala Prikrama, we go to the place where the ass demon was killed by Baladev and Krishna. You know who that is in the 10th canto? The demon in the form of an ass, a donkey. Dhenuk Asura. Dhenuk Asura. So when we go there, the story is told to all the Vaishnavas on the Parikrama about, Yes, talvan, exactly. Because they have tal fruits. But who were those fruits meant for? Do you know?
The king.
Yes, for Kamsa. And these donkeys...
And the juice of the tal. The juice of the tal also meant for the collected and was supposed to be taken to the...
Yes. So that forest is being guarded by these ass demons. And they represent what? Ignorance. Because every pastime of Krishna and every demon that is killed by Krishna has a very deep purport. That form, that particular demon. So here in Talvan, these demons, the ass demons, they represent ignorance. Ignorance. So then Krishna and Balaram come there, and the ass demons come out, and you hear them, because they're very big, they're huge, and now they come and they see, they've invaded. We are guarding this orchard of tal fruits for King Kamsa. They're serving a demon, right? Not for Krishna. They're serving a demon. And Krishna wanted to feed the tal fruits to his sakas. Because they said, "Oh Krishna, oh Baladev, there is one demon inside of us. It is called hunger. So can you kill this demon of hunger inside of?" Yes, right nearby. There are tal fruits, a whole forest full of tal fruits. So when they came there, then Baladev Prabhu, with his very strong arms, he's very strong, you shouldn't try to fight with Balaram, because he's supporting all the planets of the universe. So Balaram, in the form of a beautiful little cowherd boy, he started to shake the trees with his arms. And then what happened? The tal fruits began to become disconnected from the branch, and they went down on the ground, making the sound tup, 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 like this. the asses heard, the ass demons heard this, then they came running. And what did they do when they saw Krishna and Balaram? Then they ran towards them, and then they turned around and they tried to kick them in the chest. But did that have any effect? No. What did Baladev do? He caught their hind legs, and then he began to wheel them around in the air. Can you imagine? These ass demons weigh 2 tons. And he's very easily, a little cowherd boy, he's swinging them around in the air like it's a game. He's playing a game. And what does he do? Swinging very fast. Then they completely lost their life from the centrifugal force of being swung like that. And then he threw them up into the trees, and now they're hanging dead in the trees. And then another demon came. Then Krishna also took them and swung them around. And Srila Prabhupada writes in his Krishna book, he said it became a very panoramic scene. Because all these ass demons are different colors. And they're swinging them around and throwing them, and another comes and swinging around, throwing them, and all the ass demons are hanging in the trees. And then all the cowherd boys enjoyed a very nice feast of tau fruits. So, what is the meaning of this pastime? The meaning is that the materialistic persons who are ignorant of spiritual knowledge and reality, that is represented by the foolish donkey ass. Now when we go there, year after year, there's a particular speaker who always speaks at that place, because he has a certain presentation of what is called donkey tattva. Yes, Pujapad Ban Maharaj, this is his bhajan kutir when he comes at Gaur Purnima time. So Ban Maharaj takes the microphone and he's very enlivened. Then he begins to tell about ass tattva. What is the philosophical principle of a donkey? Ignorance. So there are a few different explanations of donkey's ignorance. We heard this the other day when I was reading. We heard that the donkey is not so intelligent. And the master actually can make the donkey work like endlessly. By doing what? By connecting a bamboo stick and hanging in front of the eyes of the donkey like a carrot. He's hanging in front of the donkey. And what does the donkey do? He wants to get the carrot, so he has to walk towards the carrot. But the carrot keeps on staying at a distance. But does he learn anything from that? No. He'll go the entire day. Not only, but he'll go the next day as well. Yes. Because ain't got so much up there. This is the materialist, donkey-like materialistic persons. They work hard, they work hard, they work hard. And what are they working hard? For just a little bit of food. Their stomach can only hold so much. Prabhupada would say, oh yes, you are a big, wealthy, industrialist. So, but how many chapatis can you eat? Can you eat more than the poor man? No, you have your limit. Maybe it's 2-3 chapatis, maybe it's 4-5 chapatis, but you have your limit. That's all you can eat. Everyone has their designated limit. And whether you're rich, whether you're poor, that's your limit. But yet they think that I will acquire so much wealth and then I'll enjoy more. Actually, they enjoy less. Because the wealthy, aristocratic, royalty people, they're always being fed so many rich foods, and they get so many diseases, and they're not really hungry so much. So the donkey also there's a particular psychological mindset that the donkey has. It's very strange and very unusual because the donkey has a, what is it called, psychosomatic attitude that when the rainy season comes, right, and now all the grasses and everything are growing very luxuriantly. But the donkey sees all these grasses and what is it? Oh, yeah, no. This is, I'm thinking the opposite one. When it's not the rainy season. I'll tell both. But first, you have to tell when it's not the rainy season and so much of the grasses have dried up. What happens to the donkey? The donkey gains weight. Because he thinks, oh, there's so little grasses, I've eaten so much. I've eaten so much because there's very little grasses. And psychosomatically, he now begins to think that I've eaten so much, so his body actually becomes more heavy. And then the opposite, when the grasses are growing in the rainy season, then he becomes very thin. Because he thinks, oh, there's so much grass, I haven't eaten anything. So much grass is there, I haven't eaten anything. Yes. Then we come to the story that Sripad Bhan Maharaj likes to tell about the man who owns the donkey. He owns a donkey. And so the donkeys are always carrying different loads on their back. So on this occasion, the donkey was required by the master to carry, I think it was a deity of Durga Devi. Was it? You don't remember? Okay. So he's carrying, on his back, a deity of Durga Devi in a parade. And there's music, and everybody is cheering, and they're calling out so many names and singing and all of this. And the donkey thinks, oh, they're glorifying me. Just see, they're singing all these songs, and they're singing and dancing. I should also dance. And then he starts to try to dance, and the deity falls off of his back onto the ground, and then everybody comes and beats him. But he doesn't understand why. They were glorifying me. So this is called As Tattva. And the thing is that Baladev Prabhu is the original guru. He's called Akhanda Guru Tattva. He is the undivided principle of guru. Every guru is an expansion of this tattva that Baladev Prabhu is the original guru. And the guru is the personality that does what? He destroys the ignorance of the conditioned souls by speaking the transcendental knowledge and truth. So, like this. So even merging into the existence of the Absolute, it is also temporary, as much as living in the celestial kingdom. People think, no, that position is eternal. But no, Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, what is that verse that talks about? Aruhya krichena param padam tata patanti adho anadrita yushmad angraya. Srimad Bhagavatam is telling that someone who does not receive the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, like those who've gone into the Brahma Jyoti, what will happen to them eventually? Because they're eternal Atma, their existence really is not destroyed, but they have a feeling that they've merged with the Brahman, but they haven't actually. Jiva Goswami gives the example of a green bird who flies into a green tree. You don't see him. So in the same way, the Jivatma, the impersonalists think that that position is forever, nitya, eternal. But no, because the Jivatma is still there. And the Jivatma is active by nature. And the Jivatma is individual by nature. And the Jivatma is also seeking after relationship. So therefore, avruhya krichena param padam tata patanti adha. They must fall back down to the material world. That's why Prabhupada is saying to merge into the existence of the Absolute is as temporary as living in the celestial kingdom, heavenly planets. It's also temporary. And both of them are controlled by time. So neither position is permanent. So, now, this is all spoken in relation to the pure desire of the pure devotees who have no other desire separate from serving Krishna. Not even, they don't desire even liberation. So he's citing this in relation also to the natural love of the gopis. Their natural love is kam gandha-heen. They're completely devoid of even the tiniest little scent of what? Lust, material lust, selfish material sense gratification. So that is the natural nature of the gopis praying. Nirmala ujvala shuddha yena dagda hema. That love of theirs, that swabhavik gopi praying, it is faultless. That means nirmala. It has no fault. Not one tiny little fault is there. It is ujvala. It is radiant and bright and shining. It is shuddha. It is completely pure, like what? Yena dugdha hain. Like pure molten gold. That is the example of the gopis praying. So, Krishna himself, he admits the fact that these gopis, they're everything to me. There's a quote of a verse from the Gopi Premamrita. There's a shastra called Gopi Premamrita. And it's spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Partha, Arjuna. So he says, Sahaya Gurava Sishya Bhujishya Bandhavashtriya Satyam Vadami Te Partha Gopya Kim Me Bhavanti Na. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, O Partha, I speak to you the truth. The gopis are my helpers. The gopis are my teachers. The gopis are my disciples, my shishyas. The gopis are my servants. They are my friends. And they are my consorts. I do not know what they are not to me. This is Krishna's own words. So Kaviraj Goswami is saying, yes, the gopis, Krishna Sahaya Guru Bandhava Prayasi, Gopika Hoyan Priya Shishya Saki Dasi. The gopis are the helpers, the Sahaya. They're the teachers, Guru. They're the friends, Bandhava. They're the wives, Prayasi. They're the disciples, Shishya. And Saki Dasi. Saki means they're his confidential friends, his confidential Sakis. And Dasi, their servants. Serving maids of Lord Krishna. So, this is the relationship between Krishna and his highest devotees. They comprise everything to please Krishna. That is what they exist for. And Krishna admits this fact. Without the gopis, I don't know even what they are not to me. There is nothing that they are not to me. They are everything to me. But they are everything to me. So, Gopika Janen Krishna Manera Vanchita. The gopis know Krishna's desires. Yes. They know it. Who else knows that? Practically no one. Nobody else knows all of Krishna's desires. Gopi Janan Krishna Maner Vanchita. All what Krishna desires, they know that. Prem Seva Paripati Ishta Samihita. And they perform their Prem Seva, their service, expertly for the satisfaction of their beloved. Do we have a verse that we chant every day which states this fact, that the gopis perform their service for Krishna expertly? Gurvashtaka. Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhyai. Yayali bi juktir apekshaniya. Tatra atidakshat atiballabhasya bande guroshri charanaravinda. Tatra didakshat means atidakshat. In serving Radha and Krishna in the Nikunja under the direction of the Sakis and Gopis, they are extremely expert. Dakshat. But also, my Guru, who is serving Radha and Krishna in his original spiritual form, in the Nikunja of Radha and Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, he is also Ati Bandhavasya. He is very, very beloved to Radha and Krishna and all the Sakis. There's another verse where Krishna himself is again telling to Arjuna, but in a different Shastra called the Adi Purana, one of the Puranas. He says, O Partha, the gopis know my Mahima, my Mahatmyam. Man Mahatmyam, Mat Saparyam, Mat Shradham, Man Manogatam. Jananti Gopika Partha, Nanye Jananti Tatvataha. O Partha, the gopis know my Mahatmyam. Just like there is Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya, the greatness of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna is admitting to Arjuna that the gopis, they know all of my glories, all of my Mahatmya. What also do they know? Mat Saparyam. Saparyam actually means service. They know all the services to render to me. Much Shraddham. They have so much respect and Shraddha in me. Man Manogatam. And they know Man Manogatam. They know what is the intention of my mind. The gopis can read Krishna's mind perfectly. Yes. They're the greatest mind readers in all of existence. Jananti Gopika Partha. Nanye Jananti Tatvataha. So the gopis, they know all this about me, but Na Anye Jananti Tatvataha. I tell you in truth, others cannot really know me. They cannot know all of these things about me. Others cannot. Only my gopis. And among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the foremost. She surpasses all the gopis in beauty. She's more beautiful than any other gopis. She surpasses all in good qualities. Say Gopigan Madhye Uttama Radhika. Amongst the gopis, Radhika is Uttama, topmost. Rupe Gune Saubhagye Preme Sarvadika. Sarvadika means above all. Above all others, she is in that position because she surpasses all others in beauty, in good qualities, in good fortune, Saubhagya, and above all, in prema. Prema is Sarvadika. She surpasses all in prema. So Prabhupada is repeating this. He says, among the gopis, Srimati Radhika, Radharani is the most exalted. She is the most beautiful. She is the most qualified. And she, above all, she is the greatest lover of Krishna. And then there's one verse, this will be the final verse of our class today. It's quoted from the Padma Purana, very famous verse. Yata Radha Priya Vishnos Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata. Yata Radha Priya Vishnos Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata. Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnur Atyanta Vallabha. Just as Radha is dear to Lord Krishna, so also her bathing place, Radha Kunda, is as dear to him as she is. Can you imagine? How dear is Radhika to Krishna? But the Padma Purana is telling us that her bathing place, her Kunda, Sri Radha Kunda, is as dear to Krishna as she is. That's why this is the topmost place of all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. That's why only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could rediscover Radha Kunda. All the other places could be discovered by the Goswamis, but not Radha Kunda. Mahaprabhu himself had to discover Radha Kunda and Shama Kunda. And therefore Rupa Goswami is describing in the Upadeshamrita that this is the ultimate topmost place of all existence. Why? Because there Krishna has the most beautiful, intimate pastimes with the gopis that cannot even take place elsewhere. So, she alone, Srimati Radhika alone, is his most beloved amongst all the gopis. Sarva Gopishu Saivaika. She is the only one amongst all the gopis that is what? Vishnur Atyanta Vallabha. Atyanta Vallabha means extremely beloved. Not just beloved, extreme Atyanta Vallabha. And that she is. So, we'll continue. That's verse 215. There are 277 verses in this chapter, so little by little we're making our way. There's so much more coming, believe me. You ain't seen nothing yet. There's like a great crescendo where Kaviraj Goswami says, after some more verses, and he says, now I'm really going to tell. Yes. So that's still coming. Alright, Gaur Premanandi. Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam Ki Jai. Jai Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Prishadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Ki Jai. Six Goswamis Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Guru Pramanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradeheti Satyavachaya Namo Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo